I bought the gloves so that wouldn't happen, because now I've got to touch my camera and my phone. I should have put the gloves on. Well, in today's video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be working on a motorcycle. This is my 1500cc FI Kawasaki Vulcan Classic, and it's a 2001 model, so she's getting on a little bit now. Now, these have been around since the late 80s, and they finished, I think, somewhere around 2008, where they were taken over by the 1600 version. And it has been a beautiful and reliable motorcycle for the entire time I've had it. It's a little bit dirty. It has been a daily for a long part of its life, and you know, it's not a show bike. Let me show you what the problem is. Okay, so we'll just turn it on. It's got a little key down here, and the fuel pump prime up, and it starts as good as it always did. Doesn't like cold weather, but generally it's okay. If you can still hear me, the problem is, put it into gear, put the side stand up, and it'll stall. So every time I put it into gear, even though the clutch is all the way in, and I've tried adjusting it there, it stalls whenever I put it into gear. Now, at first I thought maybe the side stand switch wasn't working, but then I realized if I rev it while it's doing this, it works okay, and if I take the brake off, it starts to move. So what's actually happening is the clutch is binding up. Now, it is a fully hydraulic clutch, and you can see there it takes .4 fluid, and so what I'm thinking is perhaps over the years it has either got some moisture in it or some air in it, and it just needs to be bled. Hopefully that's all it is. So we're going to try and do that today. The only catch is that we need to remove this entire side of the engine cover, or whatever it covers. Anyway, this whole chrome cover here needs to come off, and I'm guessing that in order to get to some of these screws down under here, that we are probably going to have to take off at least this rear gear shifter and possibly even the left-hand side floorboard. Once we get that cover off from everything that I've researched, we should have the slave cylinder for the clutch, and we should be able to go ahead and bleed that out, and hopefully that solves our problem. So I've gone ahead and got some parts for today. Even though I had a lot of brake fluid lying around, it's a good idea not to use old brake fluid because it is hygroscopic and it will collect water in it over time, and we're trying to potentially eliminate water in the brake fluid. So I've got some .4 brake fluid because that's what it specifies for this bike. I've also got the good nasty red brake clean from CRC, just because I'm probably going to make a mess. And then we also have a brand new one-man bleeder. These things are brilliant. If you don't have one, you need to go and get yourself one. They have a little magnet that sticks to whatever you're trying to attach it to while you're bleeding it. You can go ahead and bleed the system yourself, and it will stop the air coming in. Very, very handy. And because this is a metric cruiser, I have gone and got myself an emergency brake glass, if needed, 10mm socket. I'm sure that will come in handy today. All right, let's get to it. Okay, well, it looks like this is going to be a right pain in the neck to try and get off, and I'm just gone and got my King's toolkit out of the car, and this Allen key seems to fit in there okay, and these are really loose and easy to get to, so I reckon, provided I have enough clearance in here, I should be able to get this off without taking any of this off, which would be really, really nice. So, well, let's give it a go. Nice having this ball end on this Allen key. It's giving me access to this with just a little bit of angle on there. And that is making life very, very easy. Certainly feels like it has a seal in there. And something's coming very loose now. Alright. This is the finale here. I don't think this is going to come off because it's not just this chrome bit, it's this whole black plasticky looking bit as well. Look over here. This section has got to slip off over here. So that means I'm gonna definitely have to take these shifters off. And I hope that gives me enough room to get the rest of this off. Well, here we go. It's happened already. We need the old 10mm. Knew that was going to happen. Can you guys keep an eye on that little bastard for me, so he doesn't run away while I'm not looking? Okay. I don't think these have ever been off in the 9 or 10 years, whatever it is I've owned this bike for, so just want to make sure I don't strip anything or snap anything. Okay. As Weston would say, expertly catalogue that over there. Oh, not quite over there. Now let's see if these are going to come off nice and easy. Okay. That's going to be interesting. I probably should have marked that. Now, as well as always using the right tools, I also use the highest quality tools. Can't remember which discount store I bought this from. Long time ago. Sam's Warehouse. That's what it was. Doesn't even exist anymore. But, you know what? It still works. This should make life a wee bit easier. Expertly catalogue. Now, hopefully, I still jammed on something down there. Okay, well, after a bit of fiddling around, I just had to pull it harder, but you ain't gonna play the game. That floorboard's still attached. And that sucks. I wonder if there's a... I might be able to just undo these two bolts here. Okay. Time for some more metric ugger-duggering. Let's see how this goes for us. Well, it would help if it was the right size socket, which it is. I'm just an idiot. There we go. Let's see what happens. Well, that took a little bit of arguing. Hey, that might even be enough. Whoa. Alrighty, well, I'm guessing that this is our slave cylinder and our bleeder nipple. I would have a guess at that. I wonder where that oil is coming from. What I assume is the gearbox. Actually coming out of that hole. Huh. Not a big deal. It's a very minimal amount. Now I've got oil all over my hands. I bought the gloves so that wouldn't happen, because now I've got to touch my camera and my phone. I should have put the gloves on. Alright, well, I guess the next step is to... well, it's problematic when it's made of, obviously, aluminium. Oh yeah, there we go, that's cool. That'll work. So we need to work out what bits are hose and what little nipply doover things. I don't know what that one's for. Doing two at once maybe? Did have one of these for years and years and years. It's gone walkabout, so I reckon it must have. Who knows? Let's just put that on there, and then that on there. Okay, these must be different size bits. That'll work. Beautiful. Would you believe the first spanner I pick up was an open-ended 10mm? That's absolutely ridiculous. It never happens. Okay, it's time to move upstairs. So now we're going to need to work on this. Now, I have read that trying to prime these with the clutch handle, or trying to bleed these with the clutch handle, is hopeless. So I'm going to try and gravity bleed this. Whoop. And as mess part A, I'm going to top this up, open that bleeder, give it a couple of pumps and see what happens. Alright, let's just crack this open. Hopefully it's not seized. That's good. Then
have to
give it a couple of pumps. There we go. Oh, look at all that.
Just slowly because it's spitting out.
Oh, should put a rag on there. Geez, that there was a massive big amount of air in there already.
Air in there.
Yeah. Oh, mind you, I might have sucked it. Oh no, that's
you
just need to top him up.
Slow up.
Yeah, I don't want to get on the paintwork. Let's put a bit more in.
Has that got a valve on your bottle?
Yeah, it's a one-way bleeder. Yeah. Actually, really just bubbles out, doesn't it?
Pops out.
I'll put a bit more fluid in there, and then I'm just going to leave it for an hour or so.
To run down.
Yeah. Oh yeah, heaps of air in there, which is a good sign because hopefully that means that was my problem. Or it could be just because when we let it gravity drain, it went past that that hole. It's got air in it that way too.
Let's pick it up a little bit. There we go.
Oh. Another big gobble of air.
Starting to get a little bit of pressure there when I get just a little bit full, but
Not too bad. We can always bleed a bit more.
you could probably give it one more bleed and that'll be getting the level down there. You want to just give it one
more bleed? Yeah. Let's do it. Because it's a pain in the ass having to take this engine cover off every time.
Put in.
You got it in? Okay.
Yeah, I reckon that'd be
Good?
pretty good there now.
Alright. Well, let's fire it up and see if it'll idle. Oh, that's in gear already. Ah, beautiful. That's in gear. It wouldn't do that before, it wouldn't idle at all.
Yep.
That's in neutral now. Yep, if I let the clutch out.
Yep.
Ah,
There you go.
champion. Ah, that makes me a happy man. Okay, success. It's all working. So I just had a mate come along, and he come over to see what I was up to just at the right time. Was handy being able to have an extra person when you're trying to bleed anything, really, anything hydraulic. So yeah, I let it gravity drain at first and went off and had some lunch, and then came back. It had gravity drained past the bottom of the bloody master cylinder, so we just filled it up with air. So it was a bit of a mission to bleed all of that air out manually, but we've got it out. We've got a really good feel on the clutch now, a really nice feeling clutch, and it has solved our problem. It works a treat, which is good. So now we just need to put all of this back together. Shouldn't be a big deal, and then we can just clean up our little bit of mess here. Let's get to it. That is a raging success. Rides like brand new. Awesome. Well, I am absolutely wrapped. Got this bike working beautifully, and it's just nice to have this back on the road again, especially coming into, well, I suppose it's towards the end of winter now, and it'll be good to be able to get out on this thing again. So I hope this is useful. If you've got a Vulcan 1500 and you're trying to work out where that clutch slave cylinder is and maybe what you need to do in order to get to it, overall it's not terribly difficult. If you found it useful, please like, and if you like these videos, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.